Welcome back. Well, folks, 50 days until Thanksgiving, less than 50 days now. The holidays really can be a stressful season for a lot of folks. So in today's Life Lessons, we're learning how we can have more stress-free festivities. And here to show us how, psychotherapist Niro Feliciano. She is out with a brand new book. It's called All is Calm-ish. How to Feel Less Frantic and More Festive During the Holidays. Well, this is perfectly timed.
I love it.
And it's a beautiful book as well.
Beautiful.
So again, I mean, to that point, the holidays, for a lot of folks, it can be a mix of joy, a mix of stress, even in October.
Yes.
What are some things that people can do to get ahead of that?
It's a lot of ish during the holidays. It all comes to the surface. And that's the truth. It's a mix of joy, it's a mix of stress, it's a mix of overwhelm, and everything gets magnified. But there are things we can do now, because we're already starting to see it in the stores, right? One is to really take a moment and reflect on what is most important to you. What do you want to remember when this holiday season is over? Because we should make a list and write it down. And that's when we need to set the boundaries, because we need to guard our time and energy for those things.
I spend so much time trying to make everything perfect. You know, the same amount of gifts for every person.
I know you do.
Get my mom what I get my dad, and like just make everything even and everything perfect, and bake the cookies and wrap it pretty. And I mean, how do you let go of that perfectionism?
So in the book, I wrote about some of my greatest holiday mom fails, especially having 4 children, where I've tried to focus on that perfection. And now they're some of our funniest memories. But I realized at the end of it, I was left exhausted and very little joy. So there was a moment where I decided to choose connection over perfection. And that made a big difference for me, going to look at it through that lens. And one of the things we have to do is practice presence. And this is easier said than done. But there's a reason I wrote that over 31 chapters. It's 31 chapters from Thanksgiving to New Year. 5-minute read a chapter, because if we can start our day reading or make time for it somewhere, it focuses our mind. We become more present in other areas of our life. And the other thing is we just have to ditch the comparison.
Yes.
I mean, what we're seeing on social media is just a snapshot of that person's life. You don't know what happens behind closed doors. But also comparing ourselves to our holidays past, what we did. Because this year may be a very different season.
Well, I'm about to be traumatized times a billion, so I don't even know how I'm sitting here asking a question.
You know, it may look different,
Yeah.
and it's okay to do things different. We have to think about what is most life-giving to you right now.
I was looking at this question. You talk about finding miracles in the mess. What does that mean?
Okay, so I know this very personally, because what you don't know is this book was supposed to come out a year ago, and that was a really hard year for us. One of my youngest kids was struggling with debilitating anxiety, and whoever said you're only as happy as your unhappiest kid, there was truth there. So I was writing during that season, and what I realized, one, you have to acknowledge your feelings, right? But also I decided at that time, I'm going to look for everyday miracles in my life. And there's a difference between gratitude and miracle. Gratitude is appreciation. Miracle is anticipation. It is looking for those things in your life that are good. And if you look for them, you'll see them. You open yourself up to divine intervention. There are things that happen during that year.
To be honest with you, that is how I keep going.
I believe it.
People keep asking me how I'm doing, or, you know, when I'm happy, they're like, oh my gosh, how do you find your joy? And I think it's that. I've never verbalized it that way. But if you can stay present and find the miracle in the moment, you can just lean into that moment and stretch that moment for as long as you can, and then you look for it in the next moment. Miracle in it.
That's absolutely right. And for many people, this season is sacred too. So to connect with your spirituality, I wrote about my journey in that space, and there's prompts in there to help people get connected to what's most meaningful in their own life.
Our producers tell us that you have a little challenge for us.
I do, and that is to create a 5-minute joy ritual. 5 minutes, so it doesn't take time, that you can do throughout the season. And this is because for 20 years of working with people, I've asked men and women all the time, what brings you joy? And they don't have an answer. They don't have an answer. And I did this during the time my daughter was ill. I would just sit in the morning for 5 minutes with a reading, some prayer, a candle. And the thing about fire is it focuses your attention, and fire is actually a chemical reaction that takes potential energy into kinetic, which is the energy of motion. It's releasing potential into motion. So that brought me joy cumulatively over the season.
I love candles. Niro, thank you. The
So
book
good.
is beautiful.
Thank you.
It's called All is Calm-ish.
I love that.
And
Craig,
it is out.
do you see the broken
tomorrow.
pieces?
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
just to say it doesn't all have to be perfect.
Come
It can be
I love
broken
that.
and still beautiful.
I love it.
Thank
Niro,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.